guys, it's Melissa. How are you today? I hope everyone is doing fabulous. We are going to talk about blades today. There are a ton of different blades that you can use with your Silhouette, Cameo, Curio, Portrait, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about when to use what blades. Some of them are Silhouette branded blades, some of them are off-brand blades, and so let's talk about how to use each of them and when. So here are a bunch of blades. You may or may not have seen or have some or all of these. Hopefully you have at least this one, which is a ratchet blade. This is just the regular cutting blade that you get with your Silhouette, Cameo, or Portrait, and I believe it also comes with the Curio. This is the one that you would use a little gray ratchet to twist to adjust the number, and it basically cuts all materials. You do not want to use this, however, to cut fabric. The blue blade that looks exactly like this, but in a blue casing, is for fabric. It's actually the exact same blade. It just has different color casing so you can distinguish them. This, of course, is a sketch pen. This is the Silhouette brand sketch pen. When you take the cap off, you can insert it right into the blade housing in your Cameo, Curio, or Portrait and lock it in just like you would with the regular blades. Okay, then we have this, which is an off-brand. This is the Amy Comis pen holder. There's also a very similar one, except larger, that you can use for a marker. Essentially, you would put your pen or marker down in here, tighten this thing that looks like it came from a lampshade, and then put this whole thing into the housing in your machine, and then you would sketch with it. It's an alternative to the Silhouette sketch pen, okay? But again, it's important to know that they have different ones for markers versus pens. Okay, then we have this, which you may or may not be familiar with. This is the CB09. This is a blade that is an off-brand blade. It's one that a lot of people swear by, especially for vinyl. The complication with this is that it does not have the numbers like the ratchet blade does, and it's very difficult to figure, not very difficult, but it's tricky to figure out what depth the blade needs to be. Now, this is not necessarily a deep cut blade. The beauty of this blade is that the actual blade itself is at a different angle than the ratchet blade. Okay, so you can actually buy different depth blades for this. You can get it at 45, 60, or 90 degree angle, and that is just basically determines how the actual blade cuts through the material. This is great for something like vinyl and really intricate cuts for vinyl. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's the only way I use it, is with vinyl. And once I found the exact setting, you'll notice I'm not twisting this because I don't want it to move the blade at all, since I've now found the perfect setting. This is the one that I always use for vinyl because I always get a really nice cut. And the difference in the cut between this one and this one on vinyl is night and day. Okay, then we have, then we have this, which is the premium blade. Okay, and the premium blade is Silhouette's newest blade. And it is supposed to last up to 3 times longer than the regular ratchet blade. Okay, so people ask me all the time how I compare it to the CB09. It's not necessarily a side-by-side comparison, as this this blade is just going to last you longer. It has the same angle as the regular ratchet blade. It's just made of a stronger material. Okay, then we have these two blades, which are the embossing tips, and they are for the Curio. Actually, all 3 of these are for the Curio. The white one is the fine tip emboss, which will give you the best emboss. When you combine it with the ratchet blade and do a score first and then emboss with the fine tip, that's how you'll get the best emboss. Then this one is the wide tip emboss, which I'm going to be honest with you is not very impressive, and I don't really care for the result. This is the stippling and etching blade. It's the Silhouette brand etching and stippling blade, and it's again for the Curio. It's basically a point that goes like up and down like this, and that's how it stipples and etches. This is the Amy Comis etching blade. As you can see, there's some similarities there with her pin adapter. And again, this one will give you a great etch. You can use it both in the Silhouette Cameo and the Curio. And then we have the Deep Cut blade. This is one that a lot of people are talking about right now. As you can see, the difference between the the ratchet blade and the Deep Cut is that the Deep Cut has 2 rows. Can you see that? 2 rows of numbers. Okay, so you can actually adjust it all the way around, and depending on if you are seeing any blue, that will tell you if you're on the blue number or if you are actually pointing to the red number. Okay, so 20 would be the deepest. 20 would be the deepest blade, and you can see that the blade right there is sticking out a lot. Now, the Deep Cut blade is supposed to be for the Curio. However, I have actually only used it with the Cameo at this point, and it works really well. I've been able to cut everything from felt to burlap, paper-lined burlap, to foam adhesive, or that craft adhesive foam, and so I really do like this Deep Cut blade. So those are just a couple of the blades and how you can use them and when and why, and some alternatives that you can use them.